This is a video slam. However, my video slams are usually funny. It's the third one I'm doing. However, this one, my third one, is not going to be. They're usually supposed to be funny, upbeat little things about leftist trolls I find on Twitter and how, silly they are, and I deride them a little bit and tell you what they do and how they use these leftist tactics. This person, though, is a true troll. And there's nothing funny about what he does, even. And I can't even make it funny. So you can go talk to him about it and see what he thinks, again, like I always do. His name is M. Schwartz. For privacy's sake, I won't give you his first name. Be somewhat suspicious about it. Look at already being funny. I might not be able to help it. But, and then that's his Twitter thing. It's at Schwartz. Come up right here. I tried to write it down backwards so it came up right. I think it kind of came up right. But at, SWOHTZ. This is a dude right here. Now this dude, he says he's a retired LEO, law enforcement officer. He says that he's a smasher of all things PC, trying to fight that, blah, 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 blah. But he's not. He's not the right's friend, he's not the libertarian's friend, he's not anybody on that side of the spectrum's friend. I first had my doubts about this gentleman. Well, because at first I didn't follow this guy because he blocked me for something that he thought I said, but really was part of a comment, where your name's involved in it, but you're really criticizing that person, but he thinks you're that person that's being criticized or whatever. And he blocked me. I said, hey, why you block me, man? I was getting on their back, I'm not hopping on their bandwagon. Until he unblocked me. Followed him. We had some good debates from time to time. I could tell right away. Got a very law enforcement officer attitude, they're not, so they're people you sometimes have a hard time convincing, of them, a lot of things, especially as a libertarian. And about this country needing a reset because it's obviously fucking broken because they've been part of the system. So, they're kind of hard to get in that track of thought, but I've always had this hope with this guy. Maybe, I can bring the facts to him, I can convince him, I can show him, and, if I can show one of them, because they're hard to break. I got a few of them, but not very many. Honestly, I don't know what to think, but I couldn't get him, and and we got a little. I said some stuff today, and he blocked me, unfollowed me. It's like, but I first started doubting this guy when we first had a conversation after I got the whole thing of the confusion of us, him thinking I was a leftist at first, and it was he said that in this whole first conversation. I was talking about natural rights, and the Declaration of Independence and stuff, because he saw my video No More Compromise about how, we'd reset the system. We can't fix a broken system with a broken system. The system needs to be reset back to our founding documents, those founding principles, scrap all this crap that's infringed on the freedom of man between now and then. And we really need that. There's no way this can just we can start repealing laws and find all the bad ones, weed them out, and do it. We need to reset. The foundational thing is crumbled. But he said to that, well, you gotta be careful what you say. You're preaching treason. It's like, that'd be overthrowing the government and replacing it with something else, like something un-American, like not our founding documents, which is what I would like to replace what we have with. I would like to replace what we have with what we began with. It's not revolutionary. That's not radical. That's righteous. This dude saying all this stuff like, it's treason, all this stuff, blah, 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 read this subcode section, whatever. It's like, as you're talking about natural rights, so it's our duty and our right, the Declaration says, to throw off such government when it becomes oppressive and despotic. And he says, well, the Declaration of Independence was the declaration. There's nothing about, it's not actual law in the United States, and it's a, he also claims to be a lawyer, by the way, and he says natural rights weren't taught in law school. Well, I told him, and one time I said a comment to him, after I looked it up, and I said, you better get your money back from your law school because the Declaration of Independence is in law. It was actually, signed and they voted, and it was passed into U.S. law, First Continental Congress. So the Declaration is law, and therefore the natural rights talks about are law. And that's why you can't take rights away from people. You can't make an amendment to take away somebody's right. Because it's not the government to take away from you. It's given to you by God. Even if you're an atheist, it's important because saying that nothing on this earth gave you that right, so nothing on this earth can take it away. Ooh, very deep. But he said that, and that's wrong. It's clearly, blatantly wrong. He is incorrect in that to the nth degree. I mean, there's a million different ways, and you can't fathom the incorrectness of the statement that the Declaration is not law and there's no natural rights. All right, Martin, Schwartz, you hear me? You're wrong. Take your money back from your law school. Then there's been a lot of times where we've had this kind of similar conversations. Yeah, he said he fights all things PC. Well, I'm saying about the Trayvon Martin trial in there, and it came out very clear. I'll get you what he said in a second, but it came out very clear, very quickly, that he doesn't. He thinks that, you know, as a law enforcement officer, that they have a monopoly on protecting people. That he did a little wannabe cop talking about Zimmerman. I'm like, oh, hold on. And he's saying Zimmerman initiated he confronted Trayvon. We're watching the trial, right? And the only person that saw the beginning of it was Zimmerman. And he says, I got hit in the face. That's the first thing. He's the one who initiated contact with me. And all the injuries to him prove that. You get the neighbor who testified in court that he was on top of, Trayvon was on top of him, beating on him, raining down blows, MMA style. I mean, then you got the stuff they wouldn't admit in court, like the pictures of him in the fights and shit on his phone. You know, and the fact that he's got like weed and guns on his fucking cell phone. Trayvon did pictures. It's like, this is not the angel they've painted him to be. Trayvon Martin. He's not. You know, and believe me, if the tables were reversed, and this Trayvon had this done to him, and Trayvon shot him, Zimmerman, and it had been a complete reverse situation, I'd be for Trayvon Martin's innocence. If he shot Zimmerman, he was in the right. Like, Zimmerman is in the right shooting Trayvon Martin. It's unfortunate, and it's even sadder that they've turned this into a big race thing. But in this one, Schwartz, you are so wrong. The evidence doesn't support a thing you say. I ask him to start backing it up. I say, give me facts. And what I start going on now is like about how I said, people have a right to protect themselves and defend things and stuff like that. And I mean, like, be suspicious about certain things and they see in their neighborhood because they care about their neighborhood being a good place. And I'm not encouraging violence against anybody, but I'm encouraging being aware. And he says, like, well, you just need to call the cops and sit tight and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, dude, according to the founding fathers, law enforcement officials should not have any right or any ability or any authority beyond what you have yourself. Like, we give them the right to defend us, but we already have that right. We have this. We according to the founding fathers, the men who knew the most about our country and the way it should run ideally, thought that they should have no more rights than we do and have no more abilities and powers granted than we have already unto ourselves. Try that on for size, Mr. Schwartz. Try that on. Read our founding fathers, read their intent, and get familiar with your country, because you have a very, very thin, narrow understanding that's despicable. You tell me to trust law enforcement, but yet you decide in a situation like Trayvon Martin that some imaginary version of how you think it happened that has no evidence whatsoever to back it, and you're lying to yourself if you think there is. That I should trust you? I should call you a retired LEO? I should call the guys like you to come judge my situation appropriately? Go look on YouTube right now and find the videos of veterans coming back from war getting hit in the face by police officers. Their rights abused. You live in a police state, and the police have forgotten their place and they have overstepped their bounds. And there's no question about that. And your idea that only you have the sole monopoly on force is disgusting. How many of you every day pull people over for driving without a license and take their car away? When we have a right to travel, and there's so much judicial precedent. I have a 20-page brief I've written with so much case law from almost every state in the Supreme Court of the land backing me up. And you guys are arresting people for it. Impounding their cars at the very least. Enforcing unconstitutional laws. For real. Examine yourself. Get real. Because you know what? You say I'm like a threat, I'm a public danger. No, I am a danger to you in your eyes because I somehow think that I shouldn't have the authority you have. When you should have no more authority than I have. And our founding fathers clearly stated that as your role in our society and how expansive it should be. And It does not involve you guys having APCs, military-style weapons, going down the freaking street while they're trying to take away my AR. See Boston, we see like police blacked out Humvees coming out. Why does the freaking police department have a Humvee? That's ridiculous. Mr. Martin Schwartz, this country will only end in one of two ways. You go ahead, send this video a link to the FBI, send it to the ATF, send it to whoever the fuck. I don't care. I don't pay my taxes. You know why? Because I don't consent. I don't pay my driver's license, my registration. You know why? Because I don't consent. I will not. Those people, the law enforcement, have nothing to fear from me. They have nothing to fear from me if they don't infringe on my rights. But you know what they try to pull me over and try to take my car? I'm going to say with their camera on them, say, hey, are you detaining me? I'm with my window cracked open. Are you detaining me? Well, get out of your car. Why? What did I do? Oh, because I don't have a license? Well, you don't have a right to a license. I don't have to have one. You don't have a right to license me. It's my right to travel. I have a 20-page brief. Would you like to read it? I'll hand them a copy because I keep two in my car through the window and say, there you go. Well, your registration's due. Well, you can't make me pay a tax on my property to use my own property. It's like paying a fee to use something I already bought. Didn't I pay you taxes when I bought the vehicle? So, officer, I'm going to drive away right now. I'm not threatening you. I'm not doing anything wrong. I have a constitutional right to travel in a conveyance of my choice from point A to point B as an American citizen. So, you do what you want. You turn your gumballs on behind me and start flashing your lights and trying to pull me over again, but I'm just going to drive at the speed limit like I was to where I'm going. And you can do whatever you're going to do to me on camera that will be shown to the world eventually, and you're going to look like a huge jackass. And that's how you handle that. So law enforcement, you don't infringe on my rights. More power to you. I respect you guys to a high degree. I realize a lot of you get jaded because you see the bad side of life every day. Because whenever you go to a call, there's a problem. It's for a problem, right? There's a lot of problems that you shouldn't go to because they're not really problems. They're victimless crimes that we've turned rights to crimes, you know? Rights to privileges. Like driving. You see how blind you are? I hope you watch this whole video, Mr. Schwartz, because you know what? You all need to wake up. The law enforcement in this country needs to wake up because we are your friends. We are your fellow citizens. We're on your side. And there's, more people be on your side. If you guys got rights, you know what? This drug war is fucking, it's a lie. This driver's license thing, it's a lie. I've been lied to. You know what? People have a right to do what they want, put what they want in their bodies, as long as they don't infringe on other people's rights, you know what? And just to show I'm about doing this right, the consequences need to be greater when people fuck up, though. Because we want to give people more freedom, they need to have more responsibility for their actions. Steeper consequences. You know, like no manslaughter when you hit somebody when you're drunk and driving. Second-degree murder. You do it again, no, you're gone forever. That's it. Sorry, you did that twice. First off, we put you away for 15, 20 years the first time you did it, and you get out and you kill somebody again while you're drinking and driving? No. 15, 20 years the first time they teach you? No, you're done. I'm serious. I'm like that. That's how I think it should be. Show people that we're serious. You can do what you want, but you hurt other people doing it, you infringe on their freedom. Here's the book. It's the biggest one I got. I'm going to throw it at your head. I'm going to throw the book at you. Seriously. You need to get correct, dude. Everybody needs to go talk to him and tell him he needs to get correct. So maybe, maybe if enough people see this and go say something to him, he'll wise up and he'll say, you know what? These are the people I serve. They're my boss. Because we are your boss. When you were an LEO, maybe not anymore if you're retired, but all of the other LEOs out there, we're their boss. You're their boss now. And when they force you to do stuff unconstitutionally, it's so bullshit because it's forced at the barrel of a gun. Really, you're forcing me to do something unconstitutional at the barrel of a gun. Well, I'm not forced at the barrel of a gun. Well, yes, you are. Because, like, for example, say, I don't pay my taxes because I don't consent. And I think we have to starve the government to make it listen because it doesn't listen because if we give it money, we give the ability to govern without my consent. I give you the ability to pay law enforcement and the people that are going to come and jail me. I give them the power to do that unconstitutionally by giving them the money, the power to pay salaries. And I don't consent, but I give them that money and they can pay those people. And it's about the one way we can probably make our government listen is if we starve it of the money it takes. End the entitlement state, end the payout, end the unconstitutional law enforcement. Starve the beast. That's the only way. I really believe that. So, like I said, when I was going with this, I don't pay taxes though. What happens? IRS comes to my door. Give me a court date. Sometimes I go and say, hey, I'm not paying you any money. I don't consent. You don't have my consent right now. You waste money. IRS. You throw banquets and like dinners and like have line dancing lessons and have Star Trek bridges made there custom. No, you don't get my money until you prove you're responsible, and that hasn't happened yet. That's what any real person would do in a business. They wouldn't loan somebody money who wasn't responsible or give them anything. Because it wouldn't make a difference. They just waste it again. If you can prove otherwise, why do you deserve it? I'm okay with paying for things, believe me. I know that everything has a cost. I know that nothing in this world is free. I believe a man should be paid for his work. When his work is usurping my freedom, I'll be damned if I give him my money for it. Where was I going with that last part there? I think I had some place good I was going. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I went there or not. I got so much on my mind right now with you, Schwartz. So much. Point of this all is, though, is that is force the barrel of a gun. That's where we're going with this, because I don't pay my taxes. You come say, go to court. I say, no, I'm not paying you anything. They say, well, we're going to arrest you then and charge you. Say, you're not going to arrest me. The deputy comes over and says, you're under arrest. I say, you're violating my rights. I'm not putting my hands behind my back. I am not getting arrested right now because you are in direct violation of my rights. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to pull a gun on me, or a taser out, and they're going to make me put my hands over my head, down behind my back, interlace my fingers, and you're going to drag me off unconstitutionally to jail. Force at the barrel of a gun to your fellow citizens. Schwartz, how many did you do that to? You're a penance for any that you did. And the innocent people, the innocent kids that were smoking weed and they didn't do any harm, you know, though you may have arrested them for whatever reason, maybe they were rude to you, whatever. Or maybe you didn't work that kind of cop, but I guarantee you there's something you did that you have a regret for, because there's so many things that are laws that shouldn't be, that I guarantee you did some of it. You're a penance for all that. And be to stand up and say to your LEOs, you know, say to people, we're going in the wrong direction. We need to think about what we've done, dude. You gotta watch this video. This kid's on the money. I know kid no more actually, but you know what though? This guy's on the money. I read. I find things out. You say declaration is not law? I go and find it. I read Locke, Montesquieu. I read Voltaire, Rousseau. I've read Plato, Homer, Copernicus. I read like philosophers. I read what these people who postulated freedom in the Greek thesis. I read that stuff, Martin. You write me off like I'm some idiot. No, I see very clearly. I think I see more clearly than you. Granted, you are jaded by years of law enforcement experience, which has left you kind of a negative view in a lot of cases of society. You know, I mean, I can't. It's hard to blame you for that. But at the same time, no, I don't excuse you for it. Not at all. All the LEOs out there that are active duty are good guys that don't like what they do, who see their cops abusing the power they have, but don't do anything. Unless you change, I hold you just as guilty. I'm not saying I'm not doing anything because of it. I'm not threatening you, believe me. I'm not an idiot. But what I'm saying is that evil exists when good men do nothing. Take that to the bank. Martin is a longer video slam than I usually do. But this is for you, buddy. Because 140 characters times 1,000 couldn't fit this together in the way I just put it to you. You need to wise up, dude, because you think you got it all figured out. When you listen to this video, and if you get this far and you're still being like all jerky about it right now, like, let's keep this show, it's video death guy. No, hold on. You need to take your ego out of this. Stop the video right now if you still got all like, this guy's he's a dumbass. Look at this. Look at this guy. He's insightful. He's a treasonous bastard. You're still thinking that way right now, 19 minutes in. You need to pause this. Turn your ego off. Seriously. Sit there, woosah, turn your ego off, say, you know what? Could I be wrong? And watch this from the beginning again. Could I possibly be incorrect? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a cocky guy. I know I'm right, though. You asked me today why I do this, Martin. I don't do it for me. A lot of things I say, like you point out, could get me in trouble because there's a lot of people in the government don't like the kind of things I say. I don't get paid for this. I got business I run. I'm a contractor. You know why I do that? But it takes time away from that. When I could be sitting home chilling out, I do this. You know why? Because this is America. It's the idea that is America. And you know what? I hope that maybe by wasting my time on Twitter and doing all this stuff, making videos, trying to convince people like you, a lot of people give up on, that America's worth saving, that maybe you'd listen. And maybe enough of us listen and get our heads on straight and get together. Maybe America will live through the coming storm. Because if you don't think there's a coming storm, what's going on around us, bro? These scandals or anything? It's brewing. Just have your fucking big old boots on, and you just get some freaking beer, get some waterproof overalls on, man. You can go fishing. It's coming. It's like that. Yourself a nice wide brim hat, waterproof. It's not the end of time, man. I'm not preaching revelation. I'm saying this country is in a tight spot. And where we go depends on completely us. Martin, I'd rather have you on my side than against me. The last thing I ever want to see down in America. It saddens me to think it might come to that. It really, truly breaks my heart. I think y'all tearing you, but I tell you, it breaks my heart. It really breaks my fucking heart. Our country may come to a point where we are aiming at each other. We've been so divided and so many half the country is so lost on their constitutional rights and the role of government, how far off track that is. It makes me, it saddens me, right? It saddens me to the point where I have, like, if I'm not careful here, I'm gonna start crying because the last thing I ever want to see is another American burn off a goddamn home. That's never something I want to see. I love this country that much, and my fellow citizens. I do. And for you to tell me I'm dangerous, I'm a threat, is insulting to me. I would lay down my life for my fellow man without question, because I'm ready to meet God. I know He's there. I'm ready right now. And I'll put my life down for anybody, because they may not be ready yet. God may not have touched them yet. So they may need the time to get familiar with Him more than I do. I'll give that to them. It's insulting to say I'm dangerous. I am the farthest thing from dangerous. By all my tattoos and how gnarly I look, it's John 3:16. I'm a good man. I'm just trying to show other people the way. So we can make it back out from the hell that's coming. And make it back out the same place we came from. God's land, this land, American land. Get on that team, bro. This is that team. God bless you, even in your ignorance.